don't expect them to give you the attention. Good to see some Geki. He said, don't expect these people to give you attention when you're not there when they were building. He told me, it's actually entitlement that you found someone has grown and then you begin to want a piece of their pie. So my mentor told me, work on yourself to a level where you won't have to introduce yourself. A level where these people are the ones who can begin reaching out to you. That's what he told me. So I began doing my content. I was on YouTube releasing videos, and I decided to work on myself. Then one day, I was called for a YouTube interview by a guy called Dennis Njau. May God bless him wherever he is. And Dennis called me and said, I want to interview you on a platform. It's called, I think it was a show called Milestone or something. So I went for that show. Now listen, Dennis was not paying me to speak in that show. He was not paying me to do that. He called me in the show. He had a quality camera. He had a platform, which I did not have. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because there are people you'll meet in life who might not give you money, but they'll give you something that is beyond money. So when he called me, it was my responsibility not to look at whether he's giving me money. He did not even give me fare. He gave me tea. He gave me brotherhood and friendship. He prayed for me and he gave me a platform. That was enough. Now, by the time you get at Dennis Njau, you should have worked on yourself again. So I go to this YouTube, whatever. I shoot content. Remember, I do not have cameras at home to shoot quality content. Because, can I say something? Visibility, yes? Lack of visibility will frustrate your ability. Let me repeat. Lack of visibility will frustrate your ability. What I needed at that time was visibility. Some of you have a powerful ability, but what you're lacking is visibility. Some of you have good business ideas, but what you're lacking is ability. Wow, people have begun sending cash. You guys have sent me 1,300. Thank you so much. I'll keep just telling you. Someone sent me 350. Thank you so much. Elida sent me 1K. Thank you. Thank you. I don't take it for granted. Yes. So when I met Dennis Njau, what happened, Nick? Dennis Njau opened a door for me, right? Better if you can type my contact on Facebook. Some of the people are asking just to support our work and the impact you're making. Thank you so much. We don't take it for granted. Dennis Njau gave me a platform. Now, those videos that Dennis Njau recorded me on YouTube, I cut those videos into pieces. Then I shared them on TikTok. They were my first videos on TikTok. I remember that day very well. I gained 30,000 followers on TikTok in one day. Now my question is, did Dennis Njau help me? Yes, he did. He might not have given me money, but because the videos looked quality, they made my brand to be trusted and perceived. And then Dennis Njau works at Equity Bank. He's a senior guy in Equity Bank. Can you imagine someone from Equity Bank interviewing a young man who is 18 years old? So there's a way in which it also made people respect me. Listen, you can respect yourself, but you cannot honor yourself. Let me repeat. You can respect yourself, but you cannot honor yourself. There is a way in which when a greater man honors you, it makes your work easy. It makes your work easy. Listen, a powerful story is said about a whisper. That one day there's a mechanic who was also a car dealer. This mechanic had just fixed a car for a client, a Porsche Cayenne. Then the client asked this mechanic, how much do I pay you? The mechanic said, don't pay me. I've heard you're going for an event to speak to about 1,000 CEOs. Why can't I follow you in that event? Then when you finish speaking, just call me and whisper in my ears. Then this guy said, you want me to whisper in your ears? He said, yes. Let's go in that event. You're speaking to 1,000 CEOs. When you're done, call me, then whisper in my ears in front of everyone. So they went. Then this billionaire is speaking. Everyone wants to take a picture with him when he's finishing. Then he calls the mechanic and says, oh, before I forget something, calls the mechanic, then tells him in his ears, I have given you what you asked for. This is what you asked for. Then he says, now I'm going. Then he leaves, gets in his car, the car goes. Two things happen in that room. Number one, all these CEOs are curious. Who is this that has been called and this guy has whispered in his ears? Number two, what has he told him? The mechanic ran to the microphone on stage and said, guys, who wants to know what I've been told? Everyone lifted up their hands. Number two, how many wanted to meet the billionaire? Everyone lifted up their hand. Then the guy said, the billionaire has told me whoever wants to meet him, get a car in my kayak this week. a 30 minutes meeting with him. That's how the guy sold 100 cars in one meeting from a whisper. That there are people who, they might not give you money, but even just holding your shoulder and taking a picture with you is enough. There are people who by just following you, it's enough. Haven't I told you a story of how by just sitting in an interview with Apostle Grace Lubega, made a guy who had sent a DM 7 months ago to send a DM to me. He took me to Uganda, took me to South Africa. The man opened for me great doors by just seeing me interviewing Apostle Grace Lubega at the airport for 3 minutes. When he just saw that video, he responded to a DM that he had not responded to. But that's how powerful association is. And as Apostle Grace Lubega says that there is no association that is neutral. There is no relationship that is neutral. Every relationship has an effect. So number one, when I release these videos, this is what was brought visibility. But by the time you're meeting these people, you should have worked on something I call the defined excellence. That you're working on yourself. It took one video for me to be interviewed by Citizen TV. They called me. I have been a friend to Wahiga Moura. But I told myself one thing. Just because Wahiga is my friend, I will never tell Wahiga to call me on Citizen. Because you can also take advantage of relationships and lose them. Just because you have a friend who is working on TV, never tell them to call you on an interview. Why? Because you will be short-circuiting your introduction. I want to say something so deep and so powerful. If David had talked to Saul before, Saul could never have given David the chance to fight Goliath. Let me repeat. Let me repeat. If David was talking to Saul every day, Saul could not have taken him seriously. The fact that David was meeting Saul and he was not used to talking to him every day, but he had seen David before, is what made Saul take David seriously. Who has understood me? I wish someone understands that point. The fact that David was not in the battlefield from day one, he came on day 40, made Saul to take him seriously. If David was in the battlefield from day one, and when Goliath is coming, they are running together, and Saul is seeing David falling down from day one, Saul could not have taken him seriously. Saul took David seriously because he was seeing David for the first time in the battlefield, but not for the first time in life. Because he never saw him for the first time in life, it made him trust him. But because he never saw him for the first, he saw him for the first time in the battlefield, Saul felt like he has a different solution. I don't know if someone understands me. Listen, if your boss sees you in the morning and in the afternoon, by the time he sees you in the evening, if you give him a suggestion, he'll not accept. Or, if you call me 3 times, you call me in the morning to check up on me, you call me the second time to borrow me fare, then you call me the third time to sponsor your event. By the time you call me the third time, I'll not take you seriously. It's called frequency of conversations. Anytime, let's say if I have an event in August, and I want a critical person to support me, I don't call them in August, neither do I call them 10 times before August. I'll call them like 2 times only, or 3 times. The first time I'm calling them to appreciate them and honor them. The second time I'm calling them to meet them. The third time I'm calling them to shoot the idea. Does that make sense? Yes? Yes. There is a way in which familiarity makes you cheap. And familiarity can come in so many ways. Some of you, you call people and you tell them, I was just greeting you. What is I was just greeting you? This is a critical person. They have left a meeting to pick up your call. Then you tell them, I was just greeting you. It shows lack of focus. It shows lack of seriousness. They'll never take you seriously. Yes. Or you tell them, you send them hi. And then you're waiting for them to tell you hi. Then you ask them, how are you doing? Then you're waiting for them to tell you, I am fine. You know, it will cost you. Learn to go straight to the point if you're reaching out. And also the frequency of reaching out should not be so many times. So work on something called defined excellence. As Benny, anyone who reaches out to me and tells me, introduce me to this person, I don't introduce them. And even if I'll introduce you, I'll perceive you a certain way as if you're cheap. Learn to work by something called the natural law That let your gift introduce you. The Bible is very simple. Proverbs 18:16 says the gift of a man shall introduce him before kings. That let God work out a way in which you can be introduced. Not this thing of you forcing a relationship. Let's say you have a friend who is working in BBC. You have not yet built capacity to be invited by BBC. Then you manipulate your way to get to BBC. What will happen is that you might go to BBC, but you will not get that moment, that ish moment. You will not get it. Does that make sense? Listen. We can do the same thing, but it will have a different effect based on a number of things. Thank you. The basic destiny is too delicate to cut corners. Nothing. Like, right now, even if as Walubengo, I go to Jeff Koinange, right? And I tell Jeff Koinange, invite me in JKL. Yes. If I go in JKL by virtue of mercy, I'll be given 5 minutes. And he'll keep interrupting me. But listen, when he invites me in JKL, because he saw me, when I go there, when I'll be speaking, he'll give me time to speak. That's what I'm trying to say. If I go by virtue of mercy, I'll be given 5 minutes. Then a break will come, an advert for Smirnoff, or an advert for condoms. Then it comes back, you're given 3 minutes. But if Jeff reaches out and say, we need you in Citizen, my demeanor will be different. My stature will be different. How I'll talk will be different. The level of confidence will be different. And I'll be able to represent who I am. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. The father of David sent him to take food, but it took David to understand that it is beyond food. It's beyond food. Listen now, if David would have taken himself on the first day, yes, that David could have taken himself to the battlefield, it could not have worked the way it worked. Yes.